Good afternoon. It is November 1st, 2021, and today we're looking at really just a range day, but I mean, we trended down really strong. We had a leg down right before the open, and then we made a second leg down. It looks larger than a measured move, this second leg down. And then we started ranging. I think that was just to test the closing price from Friday, really, and we hit that and we made another leg down. So maybe that's what happened, is we got this leg down and it probably just made another. Yeah, that's like a perfect measured move down to the close. And what we probably did is we probably just had a third leg down. That's exactly what happened. So that's market geometry at its finest. I didn't even see that until just now. I was looking at the overnight highs and lows, and we didn't hit that measured move. So yeah, and that's the closing price from Thursday. So we made a measured move down to the closing price from Friday, and then we made a measured move down to the closing price from Thursday. So that's really. It's just market geometry. It's a real thing. So anyway, let's take a look at these trades that I marked. You have to be patient. Lately, for me anyway, there hasn't been a lot of setups early, so you have to be patient. And now I'm seeing this is actually like a failed second entry long. First entry, second entry. But that doesn't set up. That's above the EMA, so I wouldn't take that. But that is a second entry. Here, you're thinking this is a range day at this point, so you might, if you're thinking it's like a range with an upward bias, if you get a good signal bar right here, I would probably take that and go long. On the MES, it's set up a little better, so I did take that on the MES because I had to take my monthly trade. But yeah, so but if you are patient, we hit this, you get confirmation of this trend line here, right here, and you make a first entry, failed second entry long right off the trend line, off the EMA. Take that trade. Then we formed some congestion, and I was thinking maybe that was because it's at the overnight lows. So I don't think you can take this one as a second entry short because it looks congestive. But then you get this lower high here, and I think you got to take that. And that gets you a really nice move down, unless you get stopped out right here. I didn't even check, to be honest. But yeah, and that's all you can do for that move because we don't get a new high, and this is too far from the EMA. And we don't quite hit that measured move, but we hit this closing price from Thursday and bounce. And first, so this would be the failure, the failed second entry. And I don't think you want to do that at this point. I think it's too early to be going long. Especially I would be expecting prices to hit the measured move. But if you saw this, prices bounce off that from the Thursday closing price, you might take this second entry, failed second entry short. But yeah, so you would have gotten a scalp out of it, but then and then here this looks congestive. Why don't I get rid of? Yeah, because this didn't really end up being an important level of resistance up here, but it looked like it. This looks like a range, and so that's why I marked this one as aggressive. You get a first failed second entry long that kind of looks like it sets up. So I would definitely be considering that. I could understand why someone would be a little nervous, but we got our first close outside of this channel. This was a strong move down, so we're expecting a new low, or at least an attempt at a new low. So I do like that. And then you get a first, second entry short but that's a little the signal bar doesn't set up too well. But at that point, it does look like we're moving down, whereas over here it looked like you're going into a triple bottom or something. But you can see we bounce near that Thursday's closing price again, and we form like a little spike in channel. And so this looked like a really important level of resistance here, especially when it bounced here. It looked like we made like a triple top. So you might have been a little nervous to take this trade, but it's a second entry long and it sets up real well, and there's room to these highs. So I like that. And we got to bounce off the EMA here and here. So I think you can take that. Unfortunately, I saw it a little late, and you don't get filled on a limit order. But if you miss that, you get a first failed second entry short. That I entered this on a limit order because I definitely don't like how far away from the EMA this failure is, and you're going into the overnight lows. So I entered. You got filled at a pretty good price here. But yeah, I don't think I would have the guts to be going long above that. And then this is all just you can't enter any of this too far from the EMA. We don't really know what's happening. Too far from the trend line. Like at least this one, or this failure, it's off of this short-term trend line. Then we make this double test up here, and that's probably it looks like prices are at that level now. We make this double test, and people probably saw that and that we couldn't, because prices were trying to hit that opening price and test that, but they couldn't. And so when that failed, you get a first failed second entry too far from the EMA. This one, this kind of looks like this is the top, and it's a first failed second entry right here. So you might have considered that. That's very aggressive. But it did feel like a failure. Oh, and you know what? The main reason I marked that is because I had this level of resistance. So that'd be a failed break out of the range. So I do think that prices were ranging here. And you can see the midline holds. So I do think that is a valid range. So that's a failed breakout, and it looks like a failed second entry long out of that breakout. So, and when we get this triple test right here, or like a triple bottom off of Thursday's opening price, if you had seen that, I think if you're going to be aggressive, look how far that is from the EMA. I think that's the place to do it, and I wanted to do that. I think I had to like walk away or something. But you do get a first failed second entry right here, failed second entry short, and that turned into a spike in channel. And I think what prices are doing now is they're trying to test the opening price. We make this is a strong level of resistance right here. That probably is the top of the range. If that's, yeah, and that's, yeah. So that's probably the top of that range. Then we bounce here, and you get a first failed second entry short. That's just a bit far from the EMA for my liking, though. And this looks like a second entry long, but it doesn't break higher here, so technically it's not, but it looks like it, and that's off the EMA. So you might take that. Those are the trades I saw on my chart. Let's take a look at the ones I marked. So unfortunately, I took my MES trade, and then I switched over to this chart, and unfortunately, I only could take 2 contracts on the MES, so when I switched over, I didn't change that, and I didn't get a runner here, so I only scalped out. I don't think I would have. Maybe I would have held that. I don't know. You're going into the overnight lows, so I might not have held that. And then here, I wanted to take this trade, but my wife had me doing something. I forget what. But that would have been a nice trade. All right, and then yeah, over here I just entered on a limit order because I seen this failure set up, but it looks congestive. I mean, we are trending up, and so I got in at a good price and at a level where my risk was, I was okay with my risk. Yeah, that's a pretty good entry on a limit order. And I just scalped out, I believe. Oh no, I got a little bit. I got 5 ticks on my runner. I was thinking like, dang, I should have held it because I knew prices were trying to test these highs, or the opening price, but they didn't make it there, so not a big deal. And so that's what I saw for today, and I'll be back tomorrow.